Hello again, everybody. I'm going to continue today with another brown girl hack, and it's in response to somebody who typed a question on Instagram. Thank you so much for these because it makes my job like super easy. I don't have to be like, what should I do a video about today? It's all sorted out for me, so thanks for that. Somebody asked, what is the difference between glow and highlight? I think that's a really great topic to cover because I think there are different versions of how to highlight your face. And for me personally, like I have contoured and highlighted my face right now. And for me, contour and highlight means matte. So I have contoured and highlighted my face using only face powder, matte face powder. Now to give myself glow, I would now put on something glowy on top of that. Now I don't much care for the sort of social media trend of having absolutely matte makeup, which is what registers well on camera, as you can see, and then there's just this crazy sharp stripe here, because actually having all over glowy skin, unless you have really perfect skin, doesn't look the best in camera, which is why you'll notice I don't do too much glow. So, how you highlight your skin, if you do it well, if you ask me, the level of glow versus highlight, let's say, I would personally think of highlight as this, and glow, now the grade of glow is totally up to you. Do you want to use something super sharp and sparkly? Do you want to use something slightly glowy? My favorite highlighter is this Rodial highlighter in number 1. You can see it's got like a goldeny kind of color. And if I just put that on with, let's say, a brush, okay? So this is the Morphe M530, just a fluffy open sort of brush. So it's always good to start with a little at a time. So I'm just going to dip into my Rodial highlighter, and I'm just going to, so if you take, your brush and just feel the bit that sort of juts outwards, you don't want to come too far forward because that gets too sort of textured over here. And if you put highlight on texture, it just increases it. So I'm just going to run it along, and you just need a little bit at a time. Just run it along the outside of my face and maybe take it up into my brow bone a little bit. So it's almost like a little bit of a V. Can you see? It's very subtle and big payoff. So I've just literally done that. And if you just take a minute to work it in, you really don't need to do very much to get that result, as you can see, okay? Now, the big trick I really like to do is, after I've done my 3 points that I highlight this, and then just kind of the center of my nose. Now what I'll do is, without taking any more, so I'm going to close this bad boy and put it down. I'm just going to blend that slightly downwards towards the outside of my face and a little bit up into my temples. Because if it's highlighted here, how can this suddenly be matte, right? So you just want to take this upwards and just move it around so that rather than looking like you've got matte skin with this one shiny stripe, just move it up and down the face so that your general face looks like, my skin is gorgeous, I've had myself a facial, I've put on a serum in the morning, You just want to cheat a little bit. I don't tend to do it around my mouth, maybe a tiny bit on my chin, but I haven't picked up more product, as you can see, and it's got such a beautiful fine cling to it. You really don't need to do too much at all to that. So you can see then that's how you get, a good amount of glow. Now, of course, I'm under, beautiful light so that I look pretty for y'all, but in reality, this is a very subtle glow. Some of my other favorite highlighters, this is the Fenty Killawatt Foil Sandcastle and Mint Mojito, and what's amazing about that is it's gold and silver, so you can create any tone of gold. This is super strong. So I'm just going to check it out, tiny bit, and just watch what this does. It's woo. See that? It's crazy. So just a tiny bit of this is gonna take it up a notch. If you put your finger in this, check it out. That's sort of how kilowatty it is. So you could just do, if you wanted that murderous highlight, you can, just put with your finger, pat it just onto your skin, and your skin will absorb it even more. So, you want to kind of up it the same level. But this I wouldn't move all over my face. So I'm just upping that highlight. So it's sort of a how would I put this? Like a super highlight. This is like what I do for bridals. The other great Fenty color, if you want to do something a little cooler, this is a Killawatt Lightning Dust and Crystal Fire. It's like a peachy white. So, this has got like a coolness to it. So you can see if you add that, I'm not saying that you should add all of these at once, but it's just got this cooler tone. Can you see that? One of my other favorite tricks is to sculpt sometimes if you're really going for a glow. So this is Killawatt and Afternoon Snack and Hunny. And you can see that that's, quite a bit warmer. I don't think I would sculpt with something that shiny. That would make a really nice eyeshadow though. I would take this and use a tiny bit, like I've just gone 1, 2. And you can just push your contour very slightly with that. Like that's it. Less is more. And my advice is sort of once you've done your face, you may want to hit it with a bit of face powder. Like let's say I'm feeling like this is a bit shiny in the front. So I would just pick up any matte highlighter. I love Infallible. And I would just go over the bits that I find, too shiny. No shade, no pun intended. The other thing to notice is if you've got sort of highlighter on, then your under eye area can look very washed out. So Rodial is my favorite for this. I take just a fluffy brush. Let's say something like that. That's the Morphe Y14 brush. And I would just take a tiny bit and just make sure to hit my under eye with a little bit of the highlighter too, so that is brightened. Can you see the difference between that and that? Right? Just brighten it that little bit so that this all starts to feel like it's jutting outwards. That's one of my favorite tricks. I do it a lot. And if you've concealed well and color corrected well, then that's gonna sort of pump up your highlight situation quite a bit. There you have it. That's how you sort of give yourself a little bit of highlighter. If you feel like it's too much, you can always sweep on a bit of powder, but trust me, if I wasn't in, super bright ring light, it wouldn't be this glowy. But if I was in sunlight, it would be indeed this glowy. If I was in beautiful directional light, it would be this glowy. But I just think it's, it should be sort of all over the face-ish with some concentration, in these areas. I hope you guys found that useful. This is one in a series of many brown gal hacks that I'm trying to bring to you guys. I know there are a lot of issues specific to us, specific to South Asians, and I hope there are enough of you who need some help on this front that you're going to find this super helpful. So do, in the comments below, leave us some suggestions or any questions that you feel we haven't answered for you, and I'll get right on that. And thank you so much for giving me all of this amazing content and these amazing questions that I get to answer for you. I hope you're finding it useful, and I hope you're finding it fun.